In yet another unimaginable massacre on Monday, Muslim gunmen mowed down over 40 Christians in Nigeria. Well, Dumisani Washington, an expert on Christian persecution in Africa, joins us now. Dumisani, we talked last week about 60 Christians being killed. So if you're thinking this is the same video, it's not. This is a separate video about another massacre. Dumisani, what is going on?
And Raj, less than 2 weeks ago, 50 were killed in Nigeria, right? So this is a completely separate one from that. What's happening, Raj, is it's connected to a much larger narrative, which has to do with a global Islamic caliphate. Sometimes people hear that term, they go, oh, that's a fairy tale. No, this is real. The Islamist groups, whether they're Boko Haram in Nigeria, right there, right, Al-Shabaab in Kenya and Somalia, Hamas in Gaza, right, the connective tissue is this Islamist vision of basically subjugating everyone who does not bow down to Sharia, who does not bow down to this interpretation of this Islamic faith. This, when I say this interpretation, as Raj, as you know, the number one death toll is actually other Muslims. Other Muslims are actually killed in these regions as well when it comes to the violence that's happening from either Fulani, which just happened here, or Boko Haram in other areas.
So Dumisani, the pushback would be, in Gaza, it's not religiously motivated. It's an occupation. In Nigeria, it's a land dispute. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, it's about rare earth minerals. But you're saying that this is part of a larger narrative, correct?
All of those things can be true at the same time, Raj. In other words, yes, does Hamas want Israel destroyed and they consider it part of their land, if you will? Yeah. But the heart of that is not about land. It's about they're saying we want to kill, not just destroy Israel, but kill all the Jews in the diaspora, right? They're committed to this global mindset of destroying Jews, Christians, and others who don't subscribe to their beliefs. So unfortunately for us, Raj, particularly in the West, those other issues, as you brought them up, they become the distraction. As you may remember, the article I sent you last week, we didn't get touched on it, is from it was Newsweek, is a young man from Nigeria. He said during the Biden administration, they said the problem was global warming, right? It was because of climate change, right? Climate change was the reason why they were coming and taking land. And all these are the things that they throw out to Westerners, hoping that we get distracted by that. But the real issue, this is a religious war. And for us Christians, we understand this is what our Jewish friends would call Amalek. Amalek, which was the tribe that wanted to destroy Israel from the weakest and the smallest to everyone else. This is what's going on right now, but they want to do this across the globe.
Okay, so Dumisani, obviously you talk to a lot of folks in Nigeria. You've been sending me different contacts to reach out to. But what do you want my friend who's watching this right now to know unequivocally about what is happening in specifically Nigeria?
What they need to understand is that this is a war against Christians, a war against what we would call now religious minorities, because up until just recently, Nigeria was a majority Christian nation. So I want especially the Christians to know, Raj, to be praying for their brothers and sisters there. They are facing horrific circumstances. I'll give you a quick little story. About 2 years ago, was in Washington, D.C. for a meeting with Nigerian leaders, as well as others, to discuss what was going on. There was a young lady who's over this foundation of a young lady who was kidnapped during the whole Bring Back Our Girls thing. Raj, we were at a dinner table. She began to speak. Just this wonderful person. She just broke down and cried. She said, Nigerians are scared. So what she said, that what's happening is that Nigerians across the state are getting more and more concerned about their safety because they see it getting worse and worse. So Christians really need to be praying for our brothers and sisters there in Nigeria.
Wow. Well, Dumisani, unfortunately, it seems like we'll have to have you back on soon, because this is happening at a weekly pace at this point. It's just unimaginable. Let's definitely be praying for our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. And Dumisani, how can folks maybe get in contact with you, or find resources online to help them further educate about what's actually happening?
Please go to a couple of different places. IBSI.org, that stands for Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel. But also one of our groups we work with very closely, the African Jewish Alliance, AfricanJewishAlliance.org. It is an alliance of, just it says, of Israelis, Jews, American Jews, Africans, Christians, other Muslims as well, who are bringing awareness to this and actually attempting to bring both statewide and federal legislation to recognize what's actually happening here so that we can condemn it and bring more attention to it.
Dumisani, my friend, thank you so much.
Thanks, Raj. Appreciate it.